Hey everybody, Moarhammer here. I've got another battle report for you, and it's a doozy of a battle report. It's 800 points from the General's Handbook, my Khorne Bloodbound against Spiderfang. So it is a bit of a smaller game, but it's no less good. And I will add a disclaimer right now. There are some after hours or not safe for work hand gestures in this report. So if you're not into that sort of thing, don't watch. You have been warned. But we'll get right into those after the army breakdown. So, here is a picture of deployment. So, starting on my side, I've just kind of bunkered up in the middle, to be honest. In the woods there, I've got a unit of 10 Blood Reavers, behind which is a Blood Secrator and 5 Skull Reapers. And kind of in the centre there, I've got my Aspiring Deathbringer and Skull Grinder, just kind of on the tip of the woods. Then on the right-hand side, in front of the Realm Gate, I've got my 10 Blood Warriors, and then behind them, 5 more Skull Reapers. Then on his side, starting on the far left, you've got a Spider Shrine Arachnarok, so it's the one with the mage on top. Then he's got 2 units of Spider Riders, 1 unit of 15, 1 unit of 5. The unit of 5's there kind of just to score the objective. And then he's got 1 Goblin Boss on Spider. So, pretty tough army. We are playing the first mission out of the General's Handbook, so there's just one central objective in 9 inches away from the board edge, and you score a point of every turn. You've got at least 1 unit and no enemy units within 6 of that. So fairly simple, but ultimately we're just going to beat each other's faces in, and it's going to be great. So I will also say that in terms of magic items and whatnot, I gave my General the... he can choose 1 unit within 3 inches and they get +1 to hit as his command ability. And then I gave my Skull Grinder a Chaos Rune Blade, so he gets +1 attack on his massive hammer. And he gave his Arachnarok Spider a 4-up Mortal Wound save as his magic item, and then his Goblin on Big Spider had a ability to give 1 unit within D6 +1 to hit, which obviously stacks with all the other Spider Venom bonuses. It's pretty brutal. So that's that. And because he's only got a handful of units, he did get to choose who went first, and he wanted me to go first, which was actually okay. I really needed to consolidate my position a little bit, which is exactly what I do. I run stuff around. I plant my banner first of all, so I'm not suffering any battle shock. I run my Blood Reavers out into the middle in a line to stop him just hitting whatever he wants. Then I've got Blood Warriors behind that, and I've got a unit of Blood, then Skull Reapers behind them, and on the left-hand side, Skull Reapers in the woods. And I've got all my characters kind of 3 inches away from the front of the Blood Reavers, so if he comes into them, I can still counterattack with my characters. So I had a big fortress kind of thing going on. But other than that, nothing happens. So we go into his turn, and he casts what he needs to cast. He uses the abilities he needs to use. It's all pretty brutal, and he comes forward a little bit. He does do a bit of shooting. He has like 1 or 2 things in range, and he plinks off a single Blood Reaver. But other than that, nothing really happens. So we go to the initiative roll-off, and I win it. So I give it to him because, quite frankly, I don't want him getting a double turn when he wants it, and I could not do anything with that turn because I want him to come to me. I don't want to have to go and fight this spider mob on my own. So, fortunately, he goes for the bait. He casts the normal stuff he casts, and he flings everything forward, so that all the big spiders and the big spider comes forward. In the shooting phase, he does actually manage to plink off another 6 Blood Reavers. There's only 3 of them left, which was a bit... I was hoping that wall would be a bit more effective, so he can probably come through it a little bit and get attacking the Blood Warriors, but I still had a few little inconveniences, so he couldn't come in as hard as he could. But it's not too bad. Not too bad. So we go to I was hoping he might fail one of his charge rolls, but he doesn't. He charges in with the Spider Riders, and the Arachnarok all comes slamming in. The Arachnarok goes into the Skull Reapers. That's as far as he could get. And the spiders go into the Blood Warriors and the Blood Reavers. And actually one goes into the Skull Grinder as well. He had enough room to make it. He rolled like a 11 for his charge. So, he piles in first with his spiders here. And he does pretty well. This is brutal. He's getting mortal wounds on a 4, 5 or 6 on his rolls to hit from his spiders. And any mortal wounds do double damage. So for every 4, 5 or 6 he hits with, he does 2 mortal wounds against me. So it was pretty nasty. Fortunately, he does pretty well. So he kills 3 Blood Reavers, the rest of them, and 6 Blood Warriors. And he also puts 2 wounds onto the Skull Grinder. So, and as you can see, he was very happy about that. We were giving each other hell the entire game. We were just... It was pretty fun. It was pretty good fun. So, because when Blood Warriors die, they get to fight back. They do their thing, and they kill 3 spiders just on that back punch, which is pretty fantastic. But then it's my turn to attack. So, I attack with the Skull Reapers, because obviously the Arachnarok has not fought yet, and everything else has. So they pile in pretty nicely, and they're able to hack, I think, 10 wounds off it, all but 4 wounds go down, which is pretty nice. Now it's going to be seriously debilitated when it's fighting me, which is exactly what I want. I was also hoping that if he did fight me and do some wounds, I'm able to kill it with my returning blows, which would be ideal. So he does strike back straight away, and he manages to kill 2 Skull Reapers. I keep calling them Blood Reavers, but they're Skull Reapers. Puts 2 wounds onto another. I do retaliate and cause 3 more wounds to it, so it's down to a single wound, unfortunately. We'd actually, well, we actually do go back to this in a second. He totally forgot that he rolled the, he can reroll armor saves for 1 unit in 1 combat phase for the Triumph table. We let him go back to reroll those armor saves again. He only got to reroll like 6 or 7, but he ends up giving a couple of wounds extra back to the Ragnarok. It's not a big deal. It doesn't make a difference in the grand scheme of things. But there you go. So, I decided to attack my Skull Grinder next, before he tries to remove anybody in contact with him. And because I've got 3 attacks from my Chaos Rune Blade, and I've got the Aspiring Deathbringer nearby, and I've got the Bloodsecrator behind me, in my Unpredictable Destruction battle trait thing, I actually roll the 6, so I get +1 to hit. I'm hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, 1 rend, 3 damage with 5 attacks, and it just obliterates 6 spiders. That's 12 wounds worth of damage from a single model. So, I love Skull Grinders, they're so good. So yeah, he obliterates a bunch of them, and as you can see, he was happy about that. He wasn't very happy with the Skull Grinder at all. So then my Aspiring Deathbringer piles into the spiders and is able to kill a whole 1 himself. And then the Blood Warriors pile into the spiders as well, and they are able to kill another 2 or 3 spiders. 2 spiders, I think, which is pretty good going. I put wounded onto another. So, if you keep in tally, you'll know that it doesn't matter what he rolls in his Battle Shock, those 3 are fleeing, and this is them going. They are gone. They hit the wall of Khorne, and they bounced off like they were nothing, apart from taking a lot of guys with them. Nevertheless, I'm very happy about that. It's pretty good going. So then we go to my turn. And I kind of charge stuff forward. I move my Blood Warriors back to the objective, so 4 of them plus the Bloodsecrator can hold that objective. My Skull Reapers and Aspiring Deathbringer charge forward, and the Skull Grinder just heads off to try and deal with that Ragnarok. And my Aspiring Deathbringer puts the +1 to hit on the Skull Grinder, just to make sure he does the job. So in he runs with his massive flaming hammer. Again, he's got the same thing going on. He's got 5 attacks, hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, -1 rend, 3 damage, and he has no problem destroying the Ragnarok. Again, I put like 9 wounds onto her or something, which is perfect. So that guy gets completely taken down. Which also invokes the Bloodblessed rule from the Skullgrinder. So those Skull Reapers, the Skullgrinder himself, and my Aspiring Deathbringer, now we're all Bloodblessed. So they get that cool rule where any hit roll of a 4 or more causes 2 wound rolls more rather than just 1. And I'm absolutely okay with that. So, we go into the initiative roll-off, because that was my turn, because he went first in the battle round, and I win it. So, I charge everything forward again. My Skull Reapers, my Aspiring Deathbringer, my Skullgrinder, and the other unit of Skull Reapers all charge forward, leaving the other stuff behind to score. And most of the stuff ran, so I didn't really have a whole lot of charges to do, except one thing that didn't was my Aspiring Deathbringer, who charges headlong into the spider. And he does pretty well, actually, considering he's not the best thing in combat in the world. But he puts 5 wounds onto it, so he's only got a single wound left. I was so close to killing it, which has been amazing. But yeah, so really good job from him. He does attack back and put 2 wounds onto the Deathbringer, but that's not too much of an issue. I'm okay with that. So we go to his turn, and he flees with his big boss on Spider. fear the Aspiring Deathbringer. And he moves his Spider Riders off the objective to charge those Skull Reapers. So that's exactly what it is. He does plink a wound off with shooting, but then he charges straight in. We both do forget that you can't charge the turn after you retreat from combat. I don't think big bosses and spiders can do that as a natural thing. But it's fine. That would have been lame. And we were just messing around. We were kind of just messing around anyway. It was kind of fun and just silly. So he charges in, and they do really, really well. The little spiders attack and are able to kill 3 Skull Reapers themselves, which is outrageous. And they only take a single wound in retaliation, so that was a bit scary. When I pile in, I try to kill the big boss, but I don't manage it. And I actually only kill a single spider, which is not very good at all. So, and then when he attacks with his big boss, he only puts 2 wounds on. I was hoping he would kill one and then I could kill him. But it was not to be, so there you go. We jump then into my turn. And sorry I didn't take a picture of the whole thing, but the only important thing that happened is this. Everything just piles straight into the spiders. I get some really long charges. I think everything charged on like an 11 or a 10. Skullgrinder, the Skull Reapers, and the Aspiring Deathbringer all come piling in. And first person to attack, as you might expect, was my Skullgrinder. Doesn't do as well as he has been. Only kills 2 spiders, but it's not too bad. He attacks back with his big boss against my Aspiring Deathbringer, and is only able to put 2 wounds onto him. But then my retaliatory attacks from that guy, my general slays his general without any problem at all, so that's fantastic. He's down now. And then his spiders attack and they kill the Skullgrinder. 2 spiders, the last 2 little things left. He had 3 wounds and they just roll 6s. And he was so pleased that he got every single person watching to join in to salute the Skullgrinder, and it was glorious. So yeah, there you go. Very happy about that, and it was good fun. And then they get murdered entirely by the remaining Skull Reapers, so there's that. But yeah, there you go. That's the end of the game. I win on victory points, and I table him. A bloody battle that was. It was a fantastic. I was so unsure of what would happen in that battle. I knew I'd get hit. I did not know if I could bounce. It would bounce off me. Fortunately, it did. I think I got lucky. But yeah, fantastic game. Really, really fun. We were just giving each other hell for the entire game. We were tearing into each other. It was great. Best type of Age of Sigmar. So there you go. That's the end of the game. Thank you very much for watching. That's another victory for the Legions of Khorne, or the Khorne Bloodbound. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for another battle report.